seriously, if you're ready to turn.
You install the software on the computer and then you go online.
Can I join you along here?
You want me to wear it? So, you want me to wear it, or you want me to just?
Let me fix it up so you can wear it around your neck.
Be wired in there, Bill.
Whatever. I'll just follow you.
Yeah, the 3D video card is required.
Stand back. You notice the smile on his face when he gets that smile?
Please come to order. Let everybody get settled in here. We have to give a little extra time to the retired engineers.
How many of us are retired engineers?
He said retired, not
More
retarded.
than you would want to know.
Retired and retired.
Okay. No, I said retired, not retired. Good morning.
Morning.
That was actually a good response. We don't get to do it twice. This is meeting number 165 of TMG Dayton, and we are an Apple Technology user group. So we do all sorts of other things besides just Macintoshes. We do iPods and all of those peripheral devices that get associated with it. Okay, just so everybody knows, we're going to follow our normal agenda. So no changes there. We're going to start with our welcome. And we have, to my knowledge, one visitor today, and that's Mike Critchfield. Mike, would you mind standing up for just a minute and introduce yourself to the group?
Okay, hi, I'm Mike Critchfield. This is my wife Barbara. We just moved to Dayton about a year ago, I guess, Thanksgiving last year. Been using a Apple computer since about 1985. Currently have a desktop, which is a Power Mac G5, and a laptop, which is a PowerBook G4. It's like one of the new Intel machines. And pretty much use it for everything, from finance to internet, email, writing newsletters, photos, all that stuff.
Can you think of anything that you want to be able to do that you don't know how to do it?
Well, I'm trying to get into Skype, and it's more than just the Mac. I mean, it's easy to do it just when you're with your computer, but be able to use it through the phone system.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Okay.
That's about it.
Say welcome. Okay, so that was the welcome. Now, next item is our agenda. Today we have the main presentation, which will be on GTD, that's getting things done, and it's going to be a demo of an application for following that methodology called Thinking Rock. So that'll be the main presentation. In the novice clinic, we've got Don Grafe is going to be doing a presentation primarily on iLife applications. Mark Cobb's still going to be back there giving Don some support unless he decides. Okay, well, you could come listen to me.
I thought about coming to listen to you.
Okay.
I never get out.
So that's what we're doing today in terms of our main presentation and our novice clinic. And for those of you who don't remember what the novice clinic is all about, that's where you get to ask all those questions, anonymity, very, very informal environment, very comfortable environment. Okay? So that's what the novice group is all about. Okay, any questions about agenda? We're good on that. Okay, news. Anybody have any news items for the membership? Nobody has any news? Well, I have news. There's a utility that I have demoed in the past for the group called Applejack. Okay, it's one of these command line utilities. You only use it in single user mode. There's a new version of Applejack out, 1.4.3. It now works with, it's a universal binary, so it now works with the Intel Macintoshes. And if you do a custom install, you can also install MemTest, which is a memory check program for Macintoshes. Okay, this is a very nice thing to have if you're getting kernel panics in that, because it will help you determine whether it's your RAM or a motherboard problem. The other item that I wanted to make sure the members knew about it was another one of these utilities. It's called Main Menu. And what it does is it adds a little widget temporarily to your menu bar, and it lets you do things like clean cache, user caches, reset your font cache, reset your spotlight cache, repair permissions, update pre-bindings, redo pre-bindings. It's got all sorts of stuff in it. And it's a very elegant, low-impact utility. What that means, when I say low impact, that means if you really don't know what you're doing, you're not going to hurt anything with this utility. Okay, where with other utilities, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're in command line, you can really screw things up. Okay, nobody else has any news items? Yes?
Parallel Desktop has updated their beta program, and it's gotten really nice now. You can drag and drop between Windows and Mac OS Windows, and you can make the Windows desktop go away so that your Windows applications are floating on your Mac screen, so it doesn't look like you're running Windows.
Is that what they call convergence?
Yes.
Convergence.
What's the date of the update?
Just within the last week and a half.
Oh, last week, okay, because I just updated a month and a half ago.
Yeah, this is just within the last week and a half.
Isn't it still beta?
It's still beta.
Yeah, but it's a
I
working
haven't
beta.
had any crashes or anything with it.
And that drag and drop works if you're running more than one operating system, if you're running 3 at the same time?
I haven't tried 3 at the same time.
Okay, I tried, discovered I don't have enough RAM, but I discovered that you can do the drag and drop, which was sort of, I don't know, just weirded me out. It was just too easy. Okay, anybody else have any other news? Going once, going twice? Okay, we're done with news then. For sale or wanted, does anybody have any old equipment that they're trying to unload? Do they have any old equipment they just want to give away? Or are they looking for a particular item? I know there were some that came in the door and they're already taken care of, so man, we're efficient. Okay, what do you think, Mr. Cobb? Do you think we're going to have trouble when I say we're now going to take help desk calls?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, did anybody have any problems that they want to share with the group, what we call our help desk? Oh, this is just free.
It's the Christmas season. Would you mention that there's a bunch of handouts over there?
Oh, okay, I thought that was just, so you've got a bunch of these over there?
There's a bunch of different, there's like
Okay,
4
and they're on the free stuff table?
over there where the donuts are.
Okay. Mr. Howe was just saying he has left a series of handouts over by the donuts. What's next, which would be Coming Technologies. That's somebody's best guess. Best way to connect your smartphone to the Mac
There's a whole bunch of stuff in those.
and
Side.
iTunes. Okay. What's the source on these?
Macworld
Macworld. Okay.
and Small Dog.
Okay, so anyway, just to repeat, Mr. Howe has brought in some, I could call them Clem Hamilton handouts, I guess, and left them on the table
Some
over there.
clowns, you just call them clowns.
Yeah, I miss Clem. Anyway, and let's see, and best format file size for importing music into iTunes from Small Dog, which is a Macintosh retailer, not local, but does very, very good service over the internet. Okay, so no help desk? Oh, we did have a help desk? Thank you, Ron.
Not really a question, but
Okay.
I've got a brother who's got an older G3 PowerBook Firewire, and it was acting up on him after he'd start running the thing, and he discovered that his fan wasn't coming on and cooling the thing, and one of his memory modules, something happened to it that when the computer would heat up, the memory would go south, and he just through troubleshooting found, he bought a new memory module, and I would associate it to something like a cold solder joint, where as soon as the old module would warm up, he put it back in the machine, it would screw up his computer. Don't let your laptops get too hot is the message I want.
Yeah. One of the things that happens quite often with both the PowerBooks, where they've got that one small fan in the back, the ones that are titanium and aluminum, it's a very, very small muffin fan, about smaller than a nickel, almost, but larger than a dime. When they stop working, that severely impacts your reliability. So that's something to sort of pay attention to when you've been running a laptop for a while. Are those fans still working or not? On the older PowerBooks, the fans are on the side.
I do my hand under the laptop and see if, when it gets a little hot, I just quit working.
Yeah.
There are some products out, like iLap, that you can put laptops on that are metal and they act as a heat sink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is important with the Intel ones especially, because they are very nice to be using if you're outside watching football and it's, you know, like
Put your feet on.
Minneapolis type, you know, weather. Okay, anybody else? Yes, Bill.
Yeah, I'm looking for recommendations for an OCR program that would just simply convert, say, a PDF file, a high-quality PDF file that would convert to text. OCR program.
Anybody have any recommendations for Bill? An OCR, going from PDFs to...
I
Let me
found
write
on
that
some
one down,
PDFs,
Bill.
if you just use the text select, you can copy and paste it into Word or some other application like that.
Are you saying that it's a graphic that's embedded in the PDF?
No, actually, it's text. That, you know, I've done that before. That may be a simple solution.
You know, sometimes I've had it pasted as a picture, and other times I've
Yeah,
had it pasted as text. Sometimes it's depending on where the document came from.
Yeah, but if you can select it as text, then you're golden. All the optical character recognition things throw their guesses in sometimes and screw up the words.
Try to use Acrobat.
Not on this project, but I'm going to.
With Acrobat, it's a pretty good job.
Give me a reader.
No, Acrobat.
No, I don't have it. That's fairly expensive.
Acrobat program does a pretty good job of text recognition for graphics.
Okay. Anybody else?
You might have to.
Yes, Elton.
I recently bought an iMac 20-inch 2.16, one of the new machines. And I have wireless network at my home, and I have a PowerBook G4, which is working beautifully with my wireless network at home now. Many years and helping a lot of different people and so forth. We got it humming along great. Now, what happens with this, with the new iMac, and I've gone into preferences and set up the network stuff so that it's pretty much the same as for the PowerBook G4 that I have. But what happens is the little 4 bars up at the top that gives you the strength of the wireless signal coming in will, when it wakes from sleep, or when I bring it up or whatever, it's muted. I have to click on it and either select the name of my wireless network and it'll get dark and work, or I have to sometimes even type in my, I have WPA personal password. I have to sometimes type that in. I never have to do that with my PowerBook G4, sitting side by side in the same spot downstairs.
Is the iMac, does it have the 20-inch, that's Intel processor, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Core 2 Duo.
Okay. Do you ever get where you're looking at your wireless signal strength and it'll go from the 5 bar down to 2 and then it'll
No, I've never
fluctuate?
seen it do that. It's either muted or bright, and I have
Okay.
to make it bright by doing something.
Do you have an
usually,
idea, Bill?
sometimes.
On MacFixit, they have some dropout problems and connection problems with the latest version of Airport Extreme firmware update. And some of the fixes which I did, I went backward one version and did the firmware update on the previous version, and that solved the problem with me. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to go backwards on that Intel. It's probably the same wireless, you know, the airport card inside is probably the same thing, so I don't, it
It's
should
an
have.
Extreme, yeah.
Okay, so
Airport Extreme.
if you do, let's see, you might, when you do system profile, and get info about your machine. It'll tell you what version your airport firmware is.
Yeah.
Go to the Apple's website and look for Apple Extreme Firmware Update and look to see if, to find the one previous to that, download it, and then do a firmware update on that, and that'll overwrite the newest one, and that may solve your problem.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
Compatibility issues, those are great. For Windows users who are buying the new Office 2007, if they share files with you, make sure they save it in the compatibility mode. Converters for Macintosh will not be out until February or March at the earliest. So if you're getting Office 2007 files from your buddies in the Windows world, make sure they know to save it.
It's
in
because they're all saved
compatibility
as XML now in Word or in Office.
Okay. Compatibility mode. What about open office in that? Can they open them still, or do they have to?
Can they handle XMLs? Because
I
that's
know,
what,
Yeah.
the real open office can.
okay, then it
but
should
I'm
be.
not sure if Neo Office does.
Oh.
I
Because that's,
have not tried that. I need to try that. I'll report back.
because if it handles XML, I mean, that's what a Word document's become now instead of a DLC.
Yeah, except they're not just,
I know, you know.
it's Microsoft.
Yes.
Microsoft.
They can't follow a standard if their lives depended on it. Yes?
What is the XML? The reason I ask, at times we get the warning about macros, trying to look at the macro, and it sends out a message that this is an XML, can't be opened.
Okay, there's two different XMLs. There's extended markup language, which is an extension to HTML, okay, which is the coding. We got programmers here? Okay, if we got programmers here and I say it wrong, don't beat me up. But basically, HTML is a programming language. XML is that language, you know, moved up, if you will. It's sort of like C+ to C++. Okay. The other XML is, let's see if I can remember. I had it just a minute ago in my head. Let's see, extended macro, I forget what the L is. It's probably something like list or whatever, but it's a macro scripting extension that you see sort of like Visual Basic or the macros you see in Office, only it's like, you know, on steroids. Okay? I just messed that one up totally. But anyway,
Close enough.
two
Is it like
3-letter
compiled-
acronyms, they mean different
Is
things.
it a compiled version of the macro? So
That could very well be what it is.
Because when you get the warning about the macro, when you try to open to look at the macro to see what it's gonna do to you,
Yeah.
you can't open it.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's compiled then. Okay, so just so, there's two different
So
things
it's
with
gotta
the
be-
same name.
If they're gonna give you the warning and let you look at it, there's gotta be some way to look at it.
Yeah. But see, it's Microsoft.
Okay?
Okay, I gotta go to the person right behind you now. Yes?
Speaking of Microsoft, quite often I generate a PowerPoint presentation, and every once in a while, there's some pages in it that have paste as a picture. But when I send it from a Macintosh to a Windows user, the pictures aren't available. So I usually have to convert it to a PDF file. Should I be going in parallel to do this, or am I saving it in the wrong format? Or?
There are subtle differences between Office 2003 and Office 2004. Office 2004 is from the Mac Business Unit. That's the Office on the Macintosh.
Okay.
Office 2003 is the one on the Windows platform. There is in 2004, there's a compatibility tool.
Yeah.
You want to run that, and it will advise you as to what format you should be using when you are saving that PowerPoint. But there are differences between how it Office 2004 saves the PowerPoint and how 2003 does it.
Yeah, but when I save it on mine and everything's copacetic, when I send it to somebody else, it's the other end that has the problem, not me.
Yeah. And what I'm
So
saying
what
is,
does that-
you want to make sure that when you go to save it, the one that you're going to be sending to that other person, that you run the compatibility tool specifying what they've got in terms of
Okay.
Office
Okay,
2003.
because I run the tool, but I'm never quite sure what to do with it. So you specify compatibility with something else.
Right.
Okay.
Usually it's an embedding problem that with Office, it assumes that your pictures in that file are gonna be on your computer, so it doesn't put it into the file itself, and you may need to embed those actual images into the file before you send it.
I thought that's what happened when you went to paste special.
It's Microsoft, you know, it just doesn't always happen. I mean, it happens the other way. I get, Windows, files that are missing pictures.
Yeah, I've had
Because
that
it says, oh, it's on the server, or it's, you know, unavailable,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Or you'll get the converting metadata, but the metadata isn't there.
Yeah. But
So-
that compatibility thing will make a big difference in it, because it'll tell you where the problems are.
But if they don't have to modify it, I'd just save it out as a PDF
Sure.
and send it that way.
Well, that's what I've been doing, that's just,
Yeah. PDF, there's two different PDFs. There are portable document formats, that's the stuff from Adobe. And then there's page description formats, and that's used in high-end pagination systems. So when I'm saying PDF, I'm talking Adobe, Adobe Acrobat, those folks, Adobe Acrobat Reader. Okay? Yes, Mr. Ward?
Question, I've seen that thousands of times, converting metadata. What exactly does that mean?
What it means is that the images and their placement specifications on the slides were done on a Windows machine. And your Macintosh doesn't necessarily understand all of that, so Office is converting it over so that when you go to save it on your machine, it'll understand what's going on. Metadata is, if you've got, here's the data, metadata is the stuff up above that says, okay, the file is this, the name was this, it's this kind of file, it should be 3 pixels over and 5 pixels down. That's what metadata is.
so if somebody sends you a file with metadata, should you go to the compatibility and resave it, so it'll be consistent with your format?
If it successfully converts the metadata, yes. Okay, and then you'll get converted from a, let me think, POTs or templates, right? What's the 3-dot for a regular PowerPoint on a Windows 2000?
PPT.
PPT? Yeah, see, but they use PPT on the Mac and they're not the same.
Yeah.
They're different.
Plus you get pagination problems between the Mac and the Windows machines anyways. 'cause
And
14
don't
point-
get me started on fonts,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, yeah.
A
that's-
14-point font is not the same on either machine.
Yeah, I mean, TrueType, Royal, you just, okay.
That's why PDF.
Save it out as a PDF, it all gets embedded, and they'll be able to use it at
This
the other end.
conversion thing you're talking about, some of us maybe don't know how to get through that. If you want to, you said go check for compatibility, not conversion.
A lot of times
Compatibility
it'll
before you
come-
send it to the- Where do you go get
It
this?
defaults automatically, I think, when you install the software, it comes up.
Yeah,
When you go to save it, it'll say there's a compatibility thing that'll pop up.
Oh, really? Every
Yeah.
time you go to save?
Now, it may be turned off
An
on
Office thing?
yours.
that's if you're in Office 2004 on a Mac, not
Mac.
Office X,
Right,
not Office
and I'm in
2001.
2004, but I don't remember that thing
Yeah.
you're talking about, the compatibility.
Sometimes people turn off all the other menus and that. Let's see if I've got one here. Let me just open this real quick.
Use this little slot at the bottom to save them.
Really appreciate what I was
Let me do
told.
a cancel here. And close that
I get
out.
the same-
NeoOffice.
Sometimes you get the same
File.
Excel files.
Save as. Okay.
There's your button for compatibility.
Oh,
This stuff.
just never noticed it.
And it'll say in red that it's recommended because it knows that there's something in there that's not compatible.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is, maybe it's just me, but it seems like everything I've ever saved, it told me that something wasn't
It
compatible.
almost defaults to that, because whatever you do in the Mac, there's
Did your
gotta be
wife tell
something
you that?
different to the PC, so. I mean, it's just a standard fact, so it defaults to that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
big
I
like
get things from another company, and at times, on a given PowerPoint slide, everything that's supposed to be on the slide is there, but its position is moved all over the place.
Pagination, font
Yeah.
size.
It's just kind of like somebody took a bag full of the bits and pieces from the slide and shaken it.
There's a setting in PowerPoint where you can say, this is meant to be shown on a screen that's X pixels by Y pixels, and it locks it in that. So then you open it up on your laptop, and you've got a different resolution, and things will not line up where they're supposed to. Okay, thank you for giving me some little puzzles. We got one more? Okay.
One quickie, I do a purchasing job for our church, and one of our suppliers will only accept Microsoft Internet Explorer. When I go in with the Mac, it says you have to have Microsoft Internet Explorer to use our system. Is there anything short of going out and buying the Microsoft package for the Mac?
Okay, are we talking about web browser? In other words, you're on their website and it's saying...
On their website, and I want to use it, and I actually want to go in and buy things and whatever.
Okay. Typically, what's going on is that they either have ActiveX technology or Java technology or Flash technology on that web page. What I would recommend you try before, because Internet Explorer on the Mac, whether you're talking Mac OS 10 or Mac OS 9, is a dead product, and it doesn't work with websites anymore. So what I would recommend that you use is one of the other browsers that's out there, either Firefox, which is from Mozilla.org, or Opera, which is another one of these free browsers that's out there. These are what are considered to be, Mr. Baldiff, are they 4th or 5th generation browsers now?
Fifth, I believe.
5th generation
I've had good
browsers.
luck with Opera, with sites that otherwise are cranky with the Mac.
I've had good luck with Mozilla.
Yeah, I keep them all handy, and I if I get one that doesn't work, I just try another one. You know, it's not like you don't have a series of choices. You do. You know,
So
and they're all free.
that would let you be able to interact, I'm betting, with that website.
Okay.
And the reason why that's important is because of stuff that's called SSL, Secure Socket Layer, which means that when you're giving a credit card number, you know, you're putting it in the screen and then you hit that send button, it's being encrypted and decrypted on the other end so that it's not being intercepted in between. Okay, and that's why it's important, and that's why they say you have to have this browser or that browser. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
If Internet Explorer is dead to the max, and it's on my desktop, can I just put it in the trash?
Yeah, yeah.
Don't need it anymore.
No. If you use Internet Explorer for Mac OS X and try to connect to Microsoft, it won't work.
It'll kick you out.
Yeah, they'll kick you out.
Well, I have Safari and Firefox now, but there's still that icon for Internet Explorer.
Right, you can dump IE,
Okay.
okay? As long as you've got Safari or Firefox or Opera or iCab, or there's about 8 or 9 really good ones out there now.
Okay.
Okay?
Before she
Okay.
throws it away, though, she might want to export her bookmarks.
Yeah.
She's got a large
Yeah.
list of bookmarks or whatever. that
Well,
she's
actually, the bookmarks don't live in the application. The bookmarks will remain as an HTML file in libraries, user library preps, I think it is.
Yeah, let me just back up a second. They're talking about bookmarks. Okay, you've been browsing on the internet and you saw some sites that interested you and you saved them as favorites, or you saved them as bookmarks, or you saved them as URLs, Uniform Resource Locators. That's what they're talking about, okay? So if you throw the Internet Explorer application away, how do you get to those places that you saved? almost all of the programs, Safari, Firefox, Netscape, Opera, have a function where you can import bookmarks, and it'll ask you which browser you want to import it from, and it'll go and bring those into that browser. Or you can use an application like Butler, which I did 3 months ago, which will dynamically pull all this together so they're all in one central area. Okay.
I'm sorry? Use the library preferences, I believe. Don't come and hit me if I'm wrong.
My brain's not working this morning, so it sounds good to me.
I'll dock and then he'll throw it
Okay.
over and,
Do we have anybody else for help desk?
I have one question.
Okay, one more question. You're going to be the last question, because then we have raffle. We have the raffle. Okay, last
How
question.
important is it to have an external hard drive?
Well, it depends on how much data you have. If you have your hard drive full,
No.
then having an external hard drive may or may not have some benefit for you. What I find most people need is a place where they can put certain data and be able to carry it with them and move it from place to place. And for that, if the data isn't real large, what I recommend is what's called a USB flash drive.
I saw that in one of these.
You know, these things that you see people walking around with, they're also called geek whistles.
Right?
Geek whistles.
I've also heard them called geek bling.
Yeah, well, they do make some now that are fashion items where it's, you know, sterling silver case with diamonds. Not my.
So thumb drives.
Also called thumb drives. If you have computers that have USB ports, okay, Universal Serial Bus, the reason I keep repeating all these acronyms is that I'm studying for an A+ exam, so I'm just repeating all these 3-letter acronyms. If you have a USB drive, USB port on the computer, any of these will work, whether it's Mac or PC. Yes?
I was just gonna say, with us, what happened with we got the external AC was, we had 60 gigabytes, we're doing photos, video, music, to the point where you're down, we don't have enough memory left in the computer to burn something, so we got the external to start those videos and stuff on. That's usually what happened.
You do backups.
Plus backup.
And Mr. Howard has
Gotten very
LaCie.com, they make very good hard drives. They're running a sale for the next week or so. I think they've got a 250 gig hard drive, external hard drive. I'm not sure it's FireWire or USB, but it's about $121. It's a pretty good price.
And the thing to remember is, how much data are we talking about? This is a 1 gigabit hard drive, so that's the equivalent of almost 2 CDs, okay, on this. This is a 2 gigabit hard drive. They make them 4 gigabit, excuse me, gigabyte, I'm sorry, gigabyte hard drive. Okay, for real world reference, a gigabyte is a,
Nice.
well, I was going to
1024.
say it's a James Michener novel. But it's not. A megabyte, a full megabyte, is a James Michener novel. So a gigabyte is 1,000 megabytes. So 2 gigabytes would be 2,000 James Michener novels that you can fit on something like that.
How do I fill it up so easy?
And there's 4 gigabytes on a DVD.
It's called bad programming. They don't compress their code. All right. So if you're talking about it's in the megabyte, gigabyte range, you know, relatively small. I can't believe I said that. Then you can go with a flash drive. But if you're talking about rendering videos, where you're talking, you know, 40, 50 gigabytes, and you're starting with the size of some of these things, then you need to have an external hard drive at that point.
There was a lot of chatter about backup, and that if you have data that you'd say, oh, I wish I didn't have it on that hard disk, it's gone. How do you back up your data? Some people do it to CDs. An easy way is an external hard drive as the second place to store that stuff.
And you can't store it on the little.
Sure.
Yeah, you can store it on there if it'll all fit, but if
You can
you've
also
got
store it on your
10,000
iPhone.
photos and videos, it's not going to fit.
It's like this, okay? You're going to move some stuff from a house to another house. Okay. The first thing, and you say you got to get a truck. the first thing they're gonna ask you is, how much stuff are you moving? Do you need a pickup truck or do you need an 18-wheeler? All right? The flash drives are like the pickup truck, okay? Good for everyday use for the, smaller stuff. But if you're moving a lot of stuff, okay, or you've got a lot of storage and you want that 18-wheeler. So the external hard drive would be the 18-wheeler, the flash drives would be the little pickup truck.
If I only have USB 1.1,
Yeah.
and I use one of those 1 gigabyte thumb drives or flash drives.
They will work, but the
But yeah,
larger
my
ones
question
are,
is, it's gonna be terribly slow?
USB by definition is slower than other transfer methods, but they're getting better as they come out with original USB 1, then USB 1.1, and then USB 2. It's a personal decision. I mean, at the break, come on up, I'll move some files back and forth off of a flash drive. These are USB 1 ports, and you can sort of gauge for yourself. I mean, it's the difference between, well, I'll go
We're not
pour
talking like
myself a
5
cup of
minutes.
coffee. No, it's the difference between I'll go pour myself a cup of coffee and I'll go brew myself a new pot of coffee, okay, with some, okay?
I understand.
How many
Okay.
James Michener novels is it?
It's a new point of reference.
Bring on the raffle.
I'm sorry, I'm using my old legacy, real-world examples. I've gone back to, do you remember the 800K floppy disk?
Oh, yes.
Okay, maybe I should start with, do you remember floppy disk? An 800K floppy disk was the equivalent of a Dick Francis murder mystery, okay? And the high-density floppy disk over here, the 1.2, was the equivalent of a James Michener novel. Okay, like Space or Alaska, whatever big. Okay.
8 tracks.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do raffle, because we're burning up time here.
Okay. Does everybody have a raffle ticket? All the members?
Okay, and the way we do raffle, we need a hat, or we just,
I'll just
So you
shuffle
giving
them up,
away a
pick it up.
James Mitchell novel?
No, not today. What we are giving away, though, is from ProSoft.
just point of reference, excuse me. If the members want us to give away James Michener novels, we will acquire James Michener novels.
We should all
Okay.
read that.
I would remind you, we run this organization for you.
Give away 58 thumb drives.
We got Art Aronson working on that. Thank you, sir. Go for it.
Speaking of backing up, ProSoft Engineering has sent us a copy of their program Data Backup. Made easy.
Good company.
Yep.
I got their data rescue. It works very well.
Yes, it does. They also,
Saved a bunch of email I got deleted.
Aladdin sent us a copy of Stuff It Deluxe, which is normal stuff that you got on your computer on steroids. This nice program. Barebone Software gave us a copy of Yojimbo. I believe that's how you say that.
Yep.
It's a copy. I really haven't run it. From the description, it's a organizational type of a program.
It's a PDA GTD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they call it Yojimbo. They also sent us a T-shirt, and it's an extra large. So for the petite women, if you get it, it's going to be more of a nightshirt. So. And we have the last 2 copies of the Peach Pit Club membership. Let's see, ProSoft. Okay, if you're interested in ProSoft applications, they offer us a 25% user group discount. So just go to their webpage and you put in PRO247 as a number to a promotional code. So PRO247.
What's that website?
It's ProSoft.
Okay.
Can you send me that as an email so I can send it out to the members?
And let's see, Aladdin, they also provide us a user group discount. And they've got a listing up here of all their applications. They have, matter of fact, next month we're going to be giving away 10 for X utilities. It's 10 utilities that you can use in OS 10. That's normally $49.99 and the user group price is only $29.99. That's an example. Stuff at Deluxe is normally $80, and the user group price is $50. So you might want to look through this. If I don't have it here, let's see. Yeah, they say it's a 40% discount.
So I think the website's
Okay.
AladdinSys.com.
Well, see, Smith Micro also bought them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the password you use, no spaces or anything, is just user group.
Okay.
Okay.
40%.
And that's a capital U and a capital G. So user group, one all together, no spaces, capital U, capital G. And if you have problems doing it, you can send me an email and I can help you out. Okay, so we've got 5 things to raffle off. If everybody has their tickets, what I'm going to do is read off the last 2 numbers, because all the rest, they all start with 8,300. Okay, the first one's 78. The way we do this, you just come on up, take your choice, and the next person comes up, takes their choice of what's left. 75.
That's me.
Get your measurement out.
86. 'What'd be the chance of that? 85. 85, 86 and 85. That's the one that gets chosen.
We're gonna have to make up some hats for the user group, and so you got one to put in there.
93. 35% discount.
You gotta make up your mind. Do you want flash drives? Do you want us to get flash drives with embossing from you, or do
We
you
can
want us
do
to
that.
get hats with embossing from you?
We got a brush, we can do that. We sell those right now. That and Ethernet,
35% discount. And the T-shirt.
Ethernet modem, all those little connectors. And
So you've added
95.
that stuff to
well,
the.
that's about as high tech as we've gotten in that kind of stuff. But yeah, they're like 60.
Good thing I'm extra large.
The small ones, are like 60
Well, you can shrink it.
Is your catalog in PDF?
Crafty fine software.
Cal.com.
Because it's getting that time again for us to do something.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I'll
all we
get,
have.
Bring it back to them. I'll see if I can get hold of Steve on Friday. See what they run.
More like 75. Well, yeah, 100, and then we got them to, because that's what, if I remember when we didn't do shirts with you.
Did these things.
Yeah, we did the name badges, that was the last, yeah. Because we didn't do the shirts with you, we should have. Okay,
Break.
do you know what happens now, folks? It's 10:48, we're going to take a 10-minute break. We have bathrooms down here and down the stairs, and there are also bathrooms all the way down the hall, not quite as far as the sanctuary. So in 10 minutes, that'll be at 11 o'clock. We'll be meeting main presentation here, which is going to be productivity apps, and the novice clinic will be doing highlight. Thank you. Okay.
I don't want to be known as a gamer, I don't do that.
PlayStation or
I come from a
Xbox.
generation that thinks playing a game on a computer is a waste of good computing resources.
Now, wait a minute. Are you telling me that you never played Space War or Hammurabi on your teletype?
No, of course not.
You never ran simulations?
No,
Never did tic-tac-toe or solitaire or?
no. Oh, solitaire, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
I think I own a copy of solitaire.
But that's to learn to use the mouse. That's not a game.
Okay. Okay.
Point taken.
Is everybody ready?
Ready?
Okay. Everybody got a folder? Okay, we got a couple things in the folder. We have a printout of the PowerPoint. We've got a not insane to-do list. We've got a not real detailed getting things done. And we've got a honest to God, really detailed David Allen getting things done method sheet. Okay, everybody's got those? All right. I'm going to sit down and take a slug of coffee, and then I'm going to hope my voice lasts long enough for make it through the whole presentation. Okay, I'd like to add something new. This is an experiment. Okay. As always, I'm always open for questions. But if you think I'm like droning on and it's like I should move on a little bit, you're allowed to raise your hand and sort of spin it. Okay? No, not that way. This way, yeah.
Okay.
Spin it, okay? And if I see enough people spinning, then I know, okay, speed it up. If I don't see it, I slow down a little bit. Okay. I can't believe it. 165 meetings.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah, we're getting old. Thinking Rock version 1.2.3, GTD productivity applications. Your presenter, I'm still employed, same place. That's my business email over at Cox Ohio Publishing, Dayton Daily News. That's my private email. That's the work number, that's the home number. And I ask, please, that you turn off your pagers and cell phones. But Artie Aronson isn't here, so I guess, I didn't need to have that.
Is that a different form of a cursor?
Very high tech.
Yeah, this is your high-tech.
This is a digital system. Very, very expensive, very, very high tech. Okay, what will we cover? We're going to cover what is GTD, theory and method. We're going to talk about the types of Mac GDT applications that are out there. We're going to talk about what is Thinking Rock, which is it's an application. And then we're going to do a hands-on demo of Thinking Rock. Getting things done, the art of stress-free productivity. You know how some people refer to us as a cult? Those Mac cultists? Well, there's another group of people that are referred to as a cult out there on the internet, and those are the folks with the GDT, getting things done, the productivity cultists. And they have productivity porn, different types of notebooks, Moleskine notebooks, or this kind of fountain pen versus that type, space pens, then there's the index card folks. But all of these people are trying to implement systems, and succeeding in most cases, based on this guy's book, David Allen. The book is Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. This is paperback, it's about $15, and the website for David Allen is www.davidco.com. So if you're interested in this, you want more information, go to that website. Okay. This is the opening sentence of the first paragraph of that book. It's possible for a person to have an overwhelming number of things to do and still function productively with a clear head and a positive sense of relaxed control. Okay. Now, I don't know what sort of stress-filled environment you're in. Maybe you're retired and you don't have to deal with these things. But when I read that first sentence, I went, you gotta be kidding. This can't be true. So there's a lot involved in that one sentence. But I will say this, implementing a GDT system for me has been transformation. So yes, I have drunk the Kool-Aid, I'm seeing the visions, and moving right along with it. Okay, now this is the really, really, really short version of GTD, okay? You have these things called open loops. Open loops are unfulfilled promises to get something done. You may have made it to yourself, like, oh gee, I need to get milk for the cereal, okay? Or it may be promises that you made to other people. Those are called open loops in GDT. Second item of GTD, getting things done. Our brains can't hold all the stuff they need to hold. Okay? Have you ever had it where, you know, you're having trouble sleeping, you wake up and you suddenly remember you need to call so-and-so, you need to call Mark Cobb, and you go, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning. If I call him now, you know, he'll be throwing a brick through my window. You know, your brain doesn't seem to come up with these reminders when you can actually use it. They just sort of pop up. And what David Allen is saying is that basically we don't have enough RAM in our brains. We don't have enough psychic RAM. And so periodically, as stuff gets pushed in, stuff pops out. Usually when we can't act on it and when we can't use it. Okay. So these open loops that we're trying to remember, you know, we're trying to keep everything juggled, cause this psychic backlog. And psychic backlogs cause stress. You know, you're going, I'm spinning out of control here. And you know you're spinning out of control, and there's no way you can seem to recover. And stress causes us to become more confused and unfocused, which means even less productive. You know, have you ever fallen for the one, you know, if I just stay a couple minutes after work, I can get that desk cleared off. And what happens? It doesn't happen. Okay. So this is getting things done. This is the problem and the source of the problem as he views it. So let's talk about what he's come up with as a solution to these problems. It's a 5-step method. Collect, process, organize, review, and do. So if you would be good enough to just pull that first one, that first method sheet, the one getting things done, the one that's colored. That's a simple one. We'll just walk through this process. Okay. Now, the human brain can only hold so many things in working storage. But human beings invented a thing called writing. And our brains and our culture accept that writing is a good way to remember stuff. And we've built upon that with PDAs and computers and electronic storage devices. We've got all sorts of ways of storing stuff now. But the key to doing GTD is to have one trusted storage place for all the stuff that goes on in your life, that goes through your head. And to take it out of your head and put it into that storage place, that one trusted place. Okay? And you want to make sure that you do this as a habit. For example, something that I do. I have a problem in that I keep forgetting where my glasses are. All right? So one of the solutions I have when I'm at work, I wear, you know, those little string things on it so that they hang around my neck so I don't lose them. But at home, what I do is next to the bed, there's an eyeglass case. And when I'm getting ready to go to bed, I always put my glasses in that case. So that's when I get up in the morning, I always know where my glasses are. Okay? So I have a trusted storage point for those glasses. And I've developed the habit of always putting the glasses in that trusted place. And so I don't have to remember in my brain where the glasses are. I just go to the trusted space. So when you're collecting in GDT, you're taking these open loops. Okay? and you're going to put them in this trusted place. And by open loops, these are everything. When you do a collection, what they call a mind sweep, you're taking all the pieces of paper, you're doing free association in your head, writing all this stuff down, collecting it, and then you're going to put it into that trusted system. But just because you've collected it doesn't mean that it's going to be in a useful form. So you have to process it. So we get to the process part. You take your loops and you turn them into action types. Okay, now this is very important because what you're going to do is take something like a thought. Gee, I need to start investigating assisted living for my in-laws. Okay? Now, there's a thought. How do you do that? You know, or gee, I need to overthrow the government of the United States. There's a thought. Okay? How do you do that? Well, you can't just overthrow. You got to turn it into actions. So the trick to this is you take something that's a thought and then turn it into an actual action that you can do, or series of actions. Okay? If it's a bunch of actions required, that's called a project. So you're taking your process, you're processing those loops into action types. Typically, let's see if I've got it. So you're going to take that thought and you're going to go, is it actionable? All right? If it's actionable and it's multi-step, it goes into a project. If it's single step and you can do it in less than 2 minutes, you just do it right then when you're doing your review, when you're going through the process. If it's an action that should be scheduled at some point in time, okay, then it's a scheduled action. It gets scheduled. If it's soon as possible, you notate it as an action that's as soon as possible. Or is it not actionable? Is it a reference item? Somebody gave you a phone number. Well, you don't act on a phone number. You just want to make sure that it's put where you can find it again as a reference item. Or sometimes it's a thought that comes into your head. It's actionable, like, gee, I ought to research what I could do after I retire. But it's not something that you need to do right now. You just want a placeholder for it. It's a someday maybe, as they call it. So you classify it that way. Okay. So you've got, and you've processed these thoughts, you've changed them into actions and projects. Next thing is to organize them. Okay, you organize these actions on the basis of context and topic. Okay? You organize them by topic just so that you've got them sort of splooged together. If it's related to your physical well-being, okay, they're physical, they're medical, financial, educational. That's topics. Context is where you do it. For example, if you've got phone calls, okay, you would have all the phone calls that you need to do, regardless of what project they're for, with the context of, hey, I'm on the phone. Or you've got stuff that you need to research when I'm online, or when I'm at work, when I'm out shopping, when I'm at home, when it's the weekend. Getting an idea how you do this? And then once you've got them organized, okay, they get turned into lists. You know, you're basically in the listomania here. You're going to do a review of what you've got. In other words, you're reloading into your brain the stuff that's relevant for you right then. So for example, you've reviewed and you go, okay, these are the phone calls I need to make. Okay, and they're all put together. You got some spare time during the day? Hey, okay, I'm near a phone, boom, hey, and you got your list of phone calls, knock those off. You're out shopping. Have you ever had it? You're out shopping and you go, let's see, I'm at the warehouse, I'm at Lowe's, and I went to go get those washers, but gee, there were those other things, and I don't remember what they were. But if you've got a context list, You know, when I'm at Lowe's, when I'm shopping in a hardware store, he goes, oh yeah, I need to get the furnace filters, I need to get batteries, and oh, I need to get the light bulbs, and it's this kind of light bulb, this kind of socket. Getting a feel for how powerful this stuff can be? It's all the same information, it's just that you're classifying it a little differently. Now, with the review, you do a daily review, you do a weekly review, you do a monthly review, and if you're in a really busy work environment, you might even do an hourly review. Because out of the review process, you're deciding what you're going to do next, and how you're going to do it and when you're going to do it. So this is where we want to get to the do. The next action from the list, and you repeat until you stop. Now that's sort of the simplified one. If you look at the model from David Allen, this is sort of black belt GDT. Okay. I don't recommend that you try that yet. Start nice and simple. You do a mind sweep. You just collect all the stuff, you put it in the inbox. Then you process them one at a time. The hardest thing to do is don't cherry pick. You start with the first item. You say, is this an action or not an action? Is it a reference item? What is it? You classify it, and then you put it off to the side. The idea is you only want to handle these things once, you get them classified, and then you've got them in your container. Yes?
Bill, that reminded me of something that happened to me yesterday. It made me think, we subscribed to Netflix finally, and I was wondering how it works. How do we choose? Well, you make a list, and then this goes right up the list. And I said, that's how I should do a lot of things, you know. Once you make a list expressly, and then it almost automatically runs itself, whereas I tend, every time I look at it and reshuffle, you can't do that and get anything done.
Now, a lot of people run their GTD systems with index cards and binder clips. Okay. What I'll be showing you today is a computer program that'll do a lot of the segregation and the organization, and that will let you print out these lists where they're already ready to go. And that's extremely powerful. To have a clipboard, have you ever used a clipboard at work? You know, you want to make sure that people think you're busy, so you carry the clipboard. And you have these lists on it, okay? And your boss stops you and says, you know, well, what do you got scheduled today? And you go, well, let's see. For the morning, we're going to try to do this, this, and this, and this, unless we have help desk calls come in which case we'll defer that to the afternoon. You know, and they go, oh, he's got a plan. Now, managers, they're easy to please. They just got to know you have a plan. You don't necessarily have to implement it.
Or it doesn't have to be a good one either.
Oh. Quality is not an option for a manager. Think about it.
I prefer not to.
Have you ever been on a Macintosh menu where, you know, you're selecting what your options are, and some of them are grayed out? As I said, quality is not an option for a manager. Okay, so anyway, this is the GDT method. Let me just throw a couple of the concepts that go with it in terms. Mind sweep, I call it brain dump. You're collecting stuff to go into your trusted system. And I want to repeat, it's very important that you have one trusted system that you're using for everything. Because if you go, well, you know, I write some of the stuff in my journal, desk journal at home, and I write some of the stuff over here, you're gonna lose control immediately. You got to have one place, and it's got to go with you, that trusted system. Open loops. These are unfulfilled promises to yourself and to others, things that you want to have happen. Mind like water. This is a term that's used in GDD. It comes from a martial arts term, Mizu no Kokoru, I think it is in Japanese. But the image that they give you in the martial arts classes is, think of a pond of water, and you throw a pebble in it. How does the water respond? appropriately. If it's a small pebble, you get small waves, and then it goes back to calm. If you throw a big rock in, you get big waves, and then it goes back to calm. And if you drop that asteroid in, you know,
Empty the pond.
and then eventually it goes back to calm. All right. But the idea of appropriate response, and you're going back to an attitude of calmness. You're relaxed. You're not stressed out. The water never gets stressed. I mean, these may seem like little tricks and simple tricks, but let's face it, most of us are simple-minded, and little tricks will fool us into being less stressful and more relaxed. Okay, continuing onward. Context. Again, this is where you're doing the particular action. Examples would be phone calls, at the computer, at the store, online, at home. Topics, these are more personal, financial, health, house, work, kids, books, CDs. For me, old-time radio shows, I collect them, because that's one of my areas of interest. And then next action, another one of these buzzwords that they use. It means the next best physical thing to do. And last but not least, cranking widgets. Okay, by widget, we don't mean like on a Macintosh where you click on the dashboard and now you have these little widgets. Cranking widgets means that you're just doing small actions. Okay? Now, you've got some major thing going on during the day, you've got a meeting, etc., etc. While you're waiting for them to finally assemble, you're cranking widgets. You're going, oh yeah, I need to make that little notation, or I need to write down this reference item, or I need to make that phone call. You're filling up your day more than you thought you could ever do. Example. Before, when I was still an undergraduate and still was in an engineering curriculum, but I knew that I was not going to make it as an engineer. I started taking all these other classes, frantically looking for something else that I could do, so I could, you know, continue on and eventually graduate. And one of the classes I took was Introduction to Buddhist Scripture, and it was taught by a Buddhist monk from East Germany, no less. And what he did the second day of class was he came in with this large glass jar. He set it on the table, and then he started putting rocks in it, big rocks. And he said, okay, look at that jar. Is it full? And I looked at it, you know. I'm sitting up in the front row because I'm trying to get brownie points because I'm on academic probation. And I said, yeah, it's full. And then he took out the little thing of sand and he started pouring the sand in and he sort of swirled it around and he said, it was full. Is it now more than full? Because you had all that space around the rocks that wasn't full. So what I'm basically saying is GTD is a way to take that day that's full and you're pouring more sand in so it gets even more full. Okay, and that's called cranking widgets. Now, again, I want to emphasize all of this stuff that I'm doing, this is the really, really, really short version of getting things done. And if you're interested in other applications that are out there, other high-tech and low-tech ways of doing GTD, there's some articles out there on the web that'll be very, very good for you. First one is Getting Things Done with Your Macintosh, parts 1 and 2, and that's at www.tidbits.com. Okay. Another one, Getting Things Done with Your Mac, that's out at www.macdevcenter.com. That's the O'Reilly Publishing Company site. And then another one of my favorite sites, The Efficient Mac User, www.lowendmac.com. That's a dot, not a comma, sorry. And that'll give you more information about other ways of implementing GTD. What I'm going to focus on is a particular application called Thinking Rock. But first I'm going to pause for questions. Have I confused you totally? Can you see any value in this so far? I can see a lot of skeptical people. I know what you're thinking right now. Yeah, you're thinking procrastination. How do I handle procrastination?
Well, you're saying you can't have some notes at home and some notes you do at work. So how do you take one and you keep it together?
You would have, if you're using a low-tech system, you would have a notebook, a planner, paper-based, that has all this stuff in it. It has all of your contact information, it has all your scheduling information, it has all of the things that you want to do. You have your life in that book. Or you can do it the high-tech way, where you're using an application program and your data file is on a flash drive that you carry with you. Yes?
Will Thinking Rock work with BlackBerry?
Say again?
Will Thinking Rock work with a BlackBerry system?
If you've already got a BlackBerry, you've already chosen to go the PDA route, it's better that you stay within that genre. Thinking Rock is for people who don't believe in crackberries or PDAs, but they don't want to necessarily go the hipster, 3x5 index cards in a binder clip route. They want to be a little bit high-tech, but they don't want to be paying that money every month to Research in Motion. Okay. There are GDD implementations for BlackBerries and that, and there are applications that you can use on your PC or your Mac that will talk to those. Okay. But I'm focusing specifically on a standalone application. Okay? Yeah.
I go back to separating things. When I leave work on Friday, I write down on Post-it notes on my desk of what needs to be done next. And when I leave, it's like I did a core dump. I couldn't tell you what's on the Post-it notes on my desk at work right now.
Okay. First
I'll see
question
it
I would
Monday
have for
morning.
you is, Ron, do you need to know what's on those Post-it notes when
No.
you're at home?
No,
Okay.
but that's separate lists. And that's, that works for me.
Okay. The main thing would be that when you're at work, all of the work stuff is kept in one trusted system. So you're segregating the life at home from the life at work. Most people aren't doing that anymore. They've got the cell phone, they're VPing in from home. I know, you're smarter than they are. Okay. If you truly have segregated your work life from your home life, then you would have two trusted systems, but you would never put anything for work in the system at home, and you would never put anything for home in the system at work.
Keep it separate.
You keep them separate. And being low-tech is not bad. If you've got it on Post-it notes, you don't have to worry about a crash of that PDA. You don't have to worry about losing that cell phone that has all of that, scheduling information, or the BlackBerry or whatever. Those Post-it notes are there. Okay. There are, if you go out to Technorati and you do a search for GTD and Post-its, you'll see that there are probably 400 or 500 sets of systems where people have got the Post-it notes that they're using, and they move them around. But one of the things that I want to warn you against is keep your system simple. What happens with geeks, technically oriented people, is they start. Now, the retired engineers, just please don't get upset. They keep wanting to tweak it, optimize it, and they're spending more time optimizing the system than using the system. Okay, so what I firmly recommend is that you keep it simple and use the system for at least a half a year before you start to try and tweak it. Okay, any other questions at this point? I'm not seeing any spinning hands, so I guess I'm doing okay so far. So with GDT application types, they fall into basically three classifications. Email clients, because some people, that's how they really manage their world and their life, through their email. And that would be the BlackBerry type folks. Dedicated GDT applications, in other words, it's a standalone application, typically on a PC or a Mac, and there's two out there for the Mac that are very interesting. One is Thinking Rock, and the other one just came out of beta, and it's called Inbox. And at some point, we may or may not look at that in the future. And then the third type, which is your Web 2, web-based solutions offering platform-independent tools for getting things done. This is where, instead of you having your trusted system on your computer, it's on a website. Do you remember when we did the presentation on WikiWikis? There are WikiWikis that you can set up on a website to hold all of your projects and your actions and your scheduling information.
That's
Sort of like,
with Yahoo.
yeah, or Google, Gmail and the scheduling calendars that are available from it. Okay. The advantage of having it internet-based is, as long as you've got an internet connection, you don't care whether you're on a PC, a Mac, a Linux box. The disadvantage is, if you don't have an internet connection, you're basically not able to connect to your information unless you've printed it out in some way or form. There's one other use of that, and that is with some of these web-based things, WikiWikis and Basecamp, that sort of thing. In many cases, you can download that set of HTML code to your local machine, your computer, and even if you don't have an internet connection, you can be storing that information on your machine and using it to organize it. Okay. Now, with me, I have a very particular situation. I work on Macintoshes, I work on Windows machines, I work on Linux machines. So I want something where, regardless of what machine I'm on, I can get to my scheduling information and such and be able to manage my activities and my day-to-day schedules. So I originally was using web-based stuff, but that gets, I started to get this really sort of strange feeling. I've got all of my scheduling information, and this is my life that's out there, and it's on this web server, and it's a free service, but I don't know the people that are running this server. And then you start to think, well, I really don't want to leave that, phone number out there, because I don't have control over my data, and somebody else could be looking at it. Who knows what they're going to be able to do. So I decided, no, I don't want to be doing internet-based stuff. I want to have a standalone application, and I want to maintain control over my data. Okay? Because, the sort of stuff, if I've just met with my financial advisor, I might have in some action items, some things I'm supposed to look at, or I might want to move stuff from this account to that account. I may have the actual account numbers in there. So, I just don't want that stuff out on the web. So I found this program called Thinking Rock. And now we come to what is Thinking Rock. And this is just sort of what they have on their front page, which is that our minds are overflowing with things we want or need to do. And Thinking Rock allows you to collect and process these thoughts into actions and projects, consisting of actions, and sub-projects. That's the one that got me. Yeah, because a lot of the stuff I do is, it's not just a project that's got a bunch of actions. It's got sub-projects that I got to keep track of. And this information can be subsequently organized, reviewed, and processed. And it was just a really nice interface. Now, this is the icon for Thinking Rock. And up at the top, we've got the website where it's based. It's www.thinkingrock.com.au. So that means it's from Australia. And it's a Java-based application, which works and runs under Mac OS X, Windows, or Linux. So that means, as long as I have a copy of the application for Mac OS X, Linux, and Windows on my thumb drive, one of these thumb drives, and I have my data on the thumb drive, I plug it into whatever computer I've got, and I can run it. And last but not least, you know me, It's free. Donation freeware. I'm cheap. What can I say? You know? I got kids in college. Mark knows what that's like. I got a third one who's just leaving high school, so, you know, I'm gonna be cheap for a while longer. So that's why I ended up with this application, and because I've been very, very pleased with it, I wanted to share it with you folks. So, do you think you're ready for a demo? Yeah. Do you have your power brick?
Yeah.
Okay. Because since I'm on a
He's got one of the other ones, other side though, the other ones.
It's on that side.
on this side?
Oh, wait, what do you, oh, you need that.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you've got one of the Intels. Which connector, you coming out with a VDI?
It'll be a,
VGA?
it'll be a VGA. Be a DVI to VGA.
Excellent.
Other side.
Let's see if we got a sync here. Hello, come on. There we go. Okay, now, with that done, let's go into, okay. We're going to pretend that, oh, you were checking out all the various things that I was, we're going to quit on all those. Quit on activity monitor. Go back to recent items, Thinking Rock. When you first launch Thinking Rock, you don't have a data file configured. So it's going to come up by default into the first window. And in his case, he's got it where it is configured. So it's going to come up with his data file. It takes it a little while the first time it comes up. There we go. Okay, now, this is the process. Setup, now that's one that's added from the normal GTD. Setup, the first time you run it, you have to set up what your contexts are. That's the sort of places where you do things. And what your topics are. Once you have that done, you don't have to do that again. You can always modify it if you want. But from then on, it pretty much follows the standard getting things done methodology. You collect, you get things off of your mind. One of the buzz phrases they like to use in GTD is that if your mind isn't empty, you're not getting things done. So you should have an empty mind. Then you process them. So you collect those thoughts and then you process them. They're either information items, or they're action items, or they're future items. And if they're actions, they're either single actions or they're projects. They're multi-actions. And regardless of what kind of action they are,
You're back.
I know, I forgot to plug you in. Okay, now we're in. We got power. If they're actions, they're either do it as soon as possible or they're delegated actions. That one I love. Yeah, but the thing is, it took me 50 years to understand that I can get more done if I have other people doing the stuff for me. The problem is, you got to give up control. Okay? I was a control freak for way too many years. Scheduled items, and then of course you've got your done items. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, Don, I'm going to go ahead and collect some thoughts, do a mind sweep, and run them through the process here. Okay, if I'm in this particular window and I click on one of these items in this diagram, it'll take me to it. So for example, when I'm first creating my setup, if I click here, it'll take me to the screen where I would create my context. See, he's got home, work daytime, home, work weekend, work Sunday, anytime, work evening. I'm going to add a context, and that's TMG. Okay, TMG meeting. TMG meeting. Okay, I now have a new context. And the way I created that was by clicking on this plus icon. It then allowed me to create something. If I wanted to get rid of a context, I would select the context. I would then click on the minus, and it would go away. Let's go back to our original thing. So we've got a context set up. Topics. I'm going to add a topic to what he's got. And that is, I'm going to add the topic of technology. Okay? Click in the right place. Okay, so I'm set to go. Now I'm going to collect thoughts. Okay, let's see. My brain is pretty much empty, but I'll figure out something to put in here.
Put tables away.
Yeah.
Put chairs away.
Let's make it a more general thing. Run the meeting. Okay. Now, I'm just dumping it out. Okay. Now let's add another one. Run the meeting. Put chairs away.
Clean up.
Clean up. Collect emails from guests. Okay, so there's all this stuff. Now these are just general thoughts. Okay, I might put something, like be really nice. Okay, so we have something that's a thought, but it's not really an action. So I've done a brain dump. What's the next step? Process them. What I like about Thinking Rock is it makes me look at each one of those things and process it. So I clicked on process. Process. It's saying process thoughts, 1 of 5. Okay, thought number 1, run the meeting. Okay, my choices are it's an actionable item, it's not an actionable item. Well, it's actionable, so I'm clicking on that, and then it highlights other stuff, becomes available. But this is running the meeting. Hey, there's more than one action involved with that. So I'm going to say create a new project, running the meeting. And the context is going to be, the TMG meeting. Let's see if we can get this. There we go. And then what type of status is it? Okay, well, do it as soon as possible for right now because I'm just feeling my way around. Okay, so let's go do the next one now. Put chairs away. Oh, okay, first thing I see is, okay, I put a WAWA away, so I'll change that so it's correctly. Yeah, that's actionable. Does it go into a new project? No, it would go into a project I already got started here, which is running the meeting. Okay, context would be TMG meeting, and I'm going to add it to the project, run the meeting. Okay, let's do the next one. Cleanup. Cleanup really, well, yeah, okay, it's sort of actionable. What's a successful outcome? Janitor is not unhappy. So one of the things that you can do in this is you start to put benefits. One way to keep yourself motivated when you're working on a project is if you can visualize what the end point is. You know, if I can just get through this, I've got Friday and the weekend, okay? If it gets you there, that's what you want to do. And again, this would be part of run the meeting. Collect email from guests. Okay, that's an actionable item. Again, add it to run the meeting. We got be really nice. Well, this item really isn't actionable. I'm just going to record it as an information item. Okay, I've finished. No more thoughts to process. So at this point, we've done process. We're going to do a review. We're going to review projects. And I'm going to specifically just review this project, run the meeting. So here we've got plan and organize the project. That, whenever you create a project in Thinking Rock, it automatically creates that first action where you're going to plan things out, figure out what you're doing. Because I'm one of these people, I'm so dumb, you know, I'll start a project, but I never even thought it through and planned it out. And this is a reminder to me that I need to do that. And I'm going to look at this, put chairs away, I'm going to look at cleanup, I'm going to say, well, you know, cleanup really is a sub-project. Okay, so I'm going to change it to a project. I'm going to say it's actionable. And I'm going to say create its own project. See how it took me to all this stuff? And it's going to be inside the run the meeting project. Now I'll go back to my review process. Run the meeting. Okay. Where's the cleanup? Nope, I did the wrong thing, so I'm just going to click there. I'm going to add a project to it. I messed up, but what I like about Thinking Rock is it's real easy to recover. So I just created a new project within Run the Meeting. We'll call it Cleanup. Boom, it's set. Now I'm going to put the chairs away, that goes into Cleanup. Collect email from guests, that does go into Cleanup. And if I'm in Cleanup, I'm going to go, oh, I need to add another item, which is put tables away. Put tables away. And what kind? Do it as soon as possible. Okay. Now, after you've done a brain dump and you've done a review, etc., you're going to come back and you're going to look at something. You go, you know, put chairs away. Wait a minute. It's better if I delegate it to somebody. So I'm going to delegate it to Mark Cobb. And I want to follow up on that, and I can say follow up, and I can click on that, and I can set when I'm going to follow it up to make sure they did it. And not just put a calendar date, but I can put a time on it. So I could say, yep, I want to follow up on Saturday, but then I also want to make sure that it's at such and such a time. Okay. Put tables away. Okay, we'll delegate that to Ernest Anderson. Okay. Oh, let's go back to run the meeting. One of the other things, let's see, something else that would be in a meeting. Grab that action item, pull it back up to run the meeting. I want to move it up here a little bit. Oop, I'm sorry, I'm just using my up arrow to move it off. So you can organize them, put them in order, start to sync them. This is going to be a scheduled item. Even though it's part of the meeting, I'm going to schedule it for Sunday. no, I better make it Monday. The weekend I want to keep free because we got shopping to do. So I'm going to select it for then. And what is this item going to be? Send out email to members about the meeting. Something I'm playing with, you know, a lot of the members never come to the meetings, or they can't come to all of them, and if I send them a short report out, they're getting some benefit from their club membership that they weren't getting before, and all it takes me is an email. Okay? But it's a scheduled item. Is you know what's important at any particular time and what you should be doing next, because you're the only one that knows what your energy level is, how much time you've got going, and what your context is. So this is looking at scheduled items, okay? So you're looking at your calendar, if you will. But you can also look at do as soon as possible items. So you got a couple minutes free, you bring up your do ASAP items and see if there's something that you can fit in real quick. Or another